Hey everyone, it's Mark. This is my recap for Pokémon Journeys episode 48, a close call with the Pretty-Much-Pikachu. This was the 1133rd episode of the Pokémon anime, and this was a strange episode. Technically, it was a continuation from last week's eating contest, and by the way, I'm glad you guys seemed to enjoy that episode as much as I did. That was such a fun episode. Anyways, let's start off by taking a look at this week's highlights. For winning that big eating contest in the last episode, Go won a trip to Unova, along with an all-you-can-eat pass for some Unovan food. I guess Ash gets in on the deal too, as do their Pokemon. Go doesn't even bring out his Greedent, which is kind of unfair since that thing is the whole reason they're here anyways. Instead, they bring out Cinderace and Lucario, which just seems like blatant favoritism to me. Team Rocket are also in Unova, and something about this scene seems very familiar to me. Team Rocket must have been really motivated to try and get Pikachu lately since they traveled all the way to Unova just because they knew Ash was headed there. And this time, their plan is going to work because they have this thing. So this is the Pretty-Much-Pikachu, or Practically Pikachu, however it's actually translated. It's a robot, but like super incredibly lifelike. Well, besides the fact that its cry is Hikachu instead of Pikachu, but that's not a big deal, right? Anyways, Ash and Go unsurprisingly just so happen to show up at their Castelia Cone food truck, and Team Rocket offers to give them free toppings with their ice cream, but Go makes the absolutely reckless decision to just have plain vanilla. What? Alright, we need to stop down here for a second. This probably got me more fired up than anything else that happened in this episode. Don't get me wrong, vanilla ice cream isn't bad, but if you have the option of getting free toppings, what kind of lunatic says no to that? Throughout Pokemon Journeys, I've been defending Go from the haters in the YouTube comments and over on Twitter, but oh my god, I think he just outed himself as an incredibly boring human being with this move here. Seriously, you're fine with plain vanilla, Go? Have some standards, man. Okay, back to the episode. I think Ash and Pikachu are more happy about this mountain of ice cream than they were about winning the Alola League or defeating Tapu Koko, so that seems pretty on brand for the two of them. They offer some ice cream to their Pokemon, and while Cinderace is totally down, Lucario declines, much to Ash's surprise. If there's one thing we do know about Cinderace though, is that it likes to share its food with other Pokemon, and it really wants to share its food with Lucario, which just makes Lucario mad. I'll analyze this more in the review section of the video, but Cinderace and Lucario's different personalities were really the highlight of this episode for me. Cinderace's overly excited, cheery nature really contrasted with Lucario's cold, cool persona, and this was the first episode where we really got to see these two acting like this. Anyways, back over to Go, the boring human, who is now telling Ash to go wash his hands because he got ice cream all over them. What has gotten into Go this episode, and since when did he turn into Ash's grandmother? Team Rocket used this as their opportunity to initiate Operation Practically Pikachu, but the two of them go start playing together instead, which was, well, cute. Pikachu probably wasn't expecting to see another Pikachu in Unova, and he seems to not notice or just not care that it's actually a robot. Team Rocket try and figure out which one is the real Pikachu and blast it with this orange sticky substance. I think the episode made it pretty obvious that they hit the wrong one, and they actually take off with the Practically Pikachu. Ash's Pikachu doesn't really seem to mind, which is surprising considering Team Rocket weren't even disguised at this point. They do bike right past Lucario and Cinderace though, and they start giving chase after seeing Team Rocket escaping with a Pikachu, believing it to be Ash's. Meanwhile, the boys are finished with their ice cream, but they're more concerned about what to eat next than they are with wherever Lucario and Cinderace are. The next big chunk of the episode is dedicated to Lucario and Cinderace's chase to save Pikachu, and of course they got hit with that same sticky stuff from Team Rocket, so now they're stuck together, which is not helping fix the tension between the two of them. And because this is a cartoon show, the wackiness gets ramped up at this point, and the orange goo that's keeping them stuck together sends them flying all over the place, but of course the angles and trajectories line up perfectly so that it shoots them in front of Team Rocket, giving them the chance to take Pikachu from them. Meanwhile, Ash and Pikachu could not care less about whatever's happening with Lucario and Cinderace, which, to be fair, is far less important than the Watchog corn dogs or whatever it is that they're eating. Go wonders where their Pokemon are, but clearly not enough to stop their all-you-can-eat food adventure. Cinderace and Lucario are getting chased by Team Rocket in their balloon, so they turn into a dark alley to try and evade them, which is always a smart idea. By the way, the Practically Pikachu is basically covered in that goo, so it can't give away its identity by saying Hikachu or anything like that. We get some more scenes of Cinderace and Lucario flying around thanks to the orange goo, some more Ash and Go eating Unovan delicacies, and eventually Team Rocket decide to just battle these two, and the Rocket Prize Master gives them a sock and a throw for this battle. Thanks to the stretchy, bouncy stuff, as Team Rocket like to call it, Lucario and Cinderace are pretty much incapable of battling. That is, until Cinderace comes up with the idea of whipping Lucario around with the stretchy, bouncy stuff, and this actually works. Lucario does the same thing with Cinderace, and not only is this enough to defeat Team Rocket, it's also enough to break the stretchy, bouncy stuff. Oh boy, Team Rocket are in big trouble now. And since Team Rocket are most definitely not as strong as Mewtwo, this Aura Sphere Pyro Ball combo attack is enough to send them blasting off again. We do get a mid-blast-off dialogue though, which we do not get nearly enough of. I always love when we get to see whatever's happening in midair during one of these moments. They actually think Wobbuffet came through in the clutch and managed to steal Pikachu back, but they realize pretty quickly it was actually the Practically Pikachu. Oh well. Meanwhile, Ash has fully taken advantage of Go's all-you-can-eat prize, which reminded me of this completely random Diamond and Pearl episode that was just about Team Rocket losing weight. One of the most random filler episodes ever, but a really funny one nonetheless. This was the 92nd episode of Diamond and Pearl, for those wondering. Anyways, here comes Lucario and Cinderace, and they're rushing back to get Ash and Go since they think Team Rocket got away with Pikachu. Of course, on the other side of Ash's huge stomach is the real Pikachu, much to their shock. Ash and Go don't really get why they're acting like this, but Cinderace cheers up once Go offers it whatever dessert it is that they're eating. Of course, Cinderace tries to share with Lucario again, and immediately gets cream on its face, which is what caused all of this mess in the first place. Ash and Go seem to think they're just playing around, and the episode comes to an end with Ash's stomach deflated again, and everyone in a good mood. Well, besides Lucario. I'm giving this episode a 6 out of 10 rating. After such a long string of great episodes, the anime had to come back now to some level of normalcy eventually, and this episode was pretty average in my opinion. I like that there was actually a little bit of story involved with Ash and Go traveling to Unova, but I wish they would have highlighted the region more while they were there. Someone made a great point in the comments of one of my videos about how the anime just kind of brushes over the places Ash and Go travel to, and how it would be much better if they threw in some kind of references to Ash's previous adventures through these regions. This episode took place in Castelia City, but besides the Unovan delicacies based off of Unova Pokemon, they may as well have still been in Vermilion City. I'm not asking for Ash to do stuff like revisit every single gym he's been to or anything like that, but maybe just add in a subtle comment that when they're eating this food, he traveled through Unova once and he had this friend along with him that was a really good chef, and he'd have loved the food they were having right now. Just something subtle to remind us of Ash's past adventures and make these experiences in different regions more meaningful. I mentioned earlier that the highlight of this episode for me was seeing Lucario and Cinderace's personalities on display as the two interacted throughout this episode, since neither of them have really gotten much screen time since evolving other than strictly battle-focused scenes. Prior to evolving, Riolu was the cute, innocent one, while Raboot always tried to look cool by standing alone and pretending not to care. Now, the roles have kind of reversed. I mentioned right after Cinderace evolved that it seemed to have reverted back to its Score Bunny personality, and I think that's pretty accurate still. It's a little more at ease as a Cinderace than it ever was as a Score Bunny, and I think that's because it knows it's a strong Pokemon at this point, and it doesn't really have to prove anything to anyone else, especially to Go. As for Lucario, I think it took its evolution as some kind of step up in maturity, and now it thinks it's above silly stuff like ice cream. It obviously still cares about everything, which was obvious in how concerned it got when it thought Team Rocket had stolen Pikachu, and it is willing to drop its cold demeanor when it's time for action. I'm curious to see if this new personality is going to cause any tension between itself and Ash. With so much of this series still to go, I'm sure we're going to get a lot more character development from Lucario, so it makes sense that it has some small flaws in its character, such as this new personality. So, overall, a fun episode, but nothing too special. I think a 6 out of 10 is a fair rating, but let me know what you thought of it in the comments. We've seen Chloe next to an Eevee in some promotional shots, and the anime has even gone further to try and promote the arrival of yet another Eevee in the anime, and we're finally going to get to see it in the next episode. The storyline seems pretty basic. Ash and Go are going to get involved in some kind of plot at a school, with Team Rocket trying to steal everyone's Pokemon. Somewhere along the way, Chloe is going to meet an Eevee and maybe catch it by the end of the episode. I don't even think Yamper is officially her Pokemon yet, and I'm fairly certain she hasn't caught it, so maybe she will catch the Eevee and officially become a Pokemon trainer. I can't say I'm thrilled at the prospect of yet another female character in the anime catching an Eevee, so I wonder what the anime will do in order to make Chloe's Eevee stand out. From the looks of it, this one is basically going to be a cuteness overload, so I guess there's that. Long term, I doubt Chloe will ever evolve this thing, but maybe it will Gigantamax one day. Who knows? If you haven't yet, make sure to check out my recent discussion video about what I think is going to happen in the rest of Pokemon Journeys. I've got some really positive feedback on this video, and I think I've got my next discussion video lined up too, so I'll start working on that one soon. I just finished my semester here at school, so I have some free time coming up where I've got nothing better to do, so I should be able to make some more videos for you guys. Quick shout out to my episode 37 review video, which just recently surpassed 30,000 views this week. Honestly, I still think I just got lucky with the YouTube algorithm on that one, but hey, I'll take it. Before you go, please leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel. Leave me a comment with any of your thoughts too. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.